Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about graphs of piecewise functions. A couple of key vocabulary words to get started with. We're going to start off talking about what's called a point of discontinuity. That would be any place in the graph where the picture jumps and it no longer follows a smooth path. And we have key points right here listed that are going to tell us where that could possibly be. Not only is that going to be a possible point of discontinuity, it is also going to be where the graph kind of changes pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that, where x is -3 over here. I'm not going to leave that in my final answer, but the graph is going to be one thing on the left-hand side of that picture and another thing on the right-hand side of that picture. Now, if the left-hand side and right-hand side meet up at the same place, then there is no point of discontinuity. If the left-hand side and right-hand side don't meet up at all, then at x equals -3, we have a point of discontinuity. So let's go ahead and graph this. All right, first let's start off with the top part of the function. This is everything that's less than or equal to -3, so left of that red line I just drew has a function value of 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up here at 5, horizontal line, there's no x involved, so there's no slope. And since at the -3 here I have an or equal to sign, that means that is going to be a colored in dot there. And then that is going to go forever in the other direction away from the red line. All right. Now I'm going to graph the second half of this function. Everything to the right of that imaginary red line I drew in there. All right, so that's going to follow the y equals mx plus b form of -2x minus 3. So it's going to have an intercept down here at -3 and a slope of down 2 and right 1. Down 2, right 1. Or reverse it, up to left 1, up to left 1, up to left 1. But be careful when I hit that red line, because there is no or equal to sign. It is an open circle, not a colored in closed circle. So there is my line for the right hand side. Going away from that red line is an arrow forever. And then as I get closer to that red line, you can see I'm reaching up towards the place where y is +3. Alright, so that's the first part. We graphed it. And yes, there is a point of discontinuity, and it happened to be at x equals -3. The place we were expecting it to be all the way back in the beginning. All right? Now, next we're going to find some function values. Oh, sorry. Is it a function? Is it a function? We're going to use the vertical line test for that. So that would mean you're going to put a vertical line, usually your pencil or your finger, and hold it straight up and down, vertical, and move it across the picture from left to right. If your pencil or your finger ever hits the graph in two places at the same time, then the answer is no, not a function. Well, in this one, that never happens. So this one is a function. All right. Now let's find some function values. The first one, f of -4. That's like the x. X is -4. So on my graph, I could go to where x is -4, which is right there. Look up and see what the value is. Looks like I'm up at 5. Now I could have also gone back and used the formula. F of -4, that means I'd be using this one. The x is less than -3. And there's the answer, 5. All right, do the same thing on the next one. My input value is a 0. I could come to the graph, find x is 0, and slide down and see where it is. Looks like it's at -3. Or I could have used the formula. F of 0 would have put me in this category, less than -3. Oh, sorry, duh. It would have put me in this category, greater than -3. And that meant I would have used this formula. And I would have plugged the 0 into that formula. -2 times 0 minus 3 also would have equaled -3. Right? Now the last one. Now I'm going to be looking for f of 3. So I can go to the graph. There's 3. And I go down and uh-oh, it's off the picture. So I don't really know what it is. So I'm going to have to use the formula. The x of 3 would fit into this category. Because, again, 3 is greater than -3. So plug it in. -2 times 3 minus 3. That's going to give me -6 minus 3, or -9. So that's the bulk of your assignment today, is to draw the graph and answer a few questions. Now, some of the more challenging graphs I went ahead and drew for you just to make it go a little faster today. All right, the second part of your work is to actually look at a pre-drawn graph and to come up with your own piecewise function. All right, now again, to save a little bit of time, I've gone ahead and figured out what the equations of the line are in the three different sections here. So this answer is going to be three parts. F of x equals, and we've got a three-part answer. Let's look at the part in blue first. That's over here on the left. I went ahead and found 2 points on the line, counted my rise and run slope, and then put them into point slope form, and converted to slope intercept form to get this equation. So that is one of my possible equations, 3x plus 10. Now, when do I use that equation? Well, I use that any place, well, let's see, from here, left. So that it's any place where x is to the left of -2. Now, up here, where it's equal to, it looks like that's a colored in circle, so I'll go ahead and put the or equal to in. All right, now let's look at the red section. The red section is a flat horizontal line, so its equation is super easy. 4. No x involved because there's no slope. Now, when is that flat section? Well, it's everything from the in between -2 and +2. So I write x in the middle. It's always pointing left for these ones, in betweens. And it looks like at the -2 over here on the left, that's a solid dot. And over here on the right, that's also a solid dot. So that gets the or equal to's. Notice there is no point of discontinuity here. The graph does have a flow at that spot. It doesn't jump. All right, then the last part, on the right, again, I found 2 points on that line, counted out the slope, used point slope form, and converted it into this nice slope intercept form equation. -3x plus 10. Now, when is that happening? That is happening everywhere where x is to the right of +2. All right, now up here at +2, that's a colored in circle, so I could use the or equal to. Again, that's the part you're going to do today. You're going to be filling in this column and this column. All right, but again, I was nice, and I went ahead and already did this part for you. So that just means you have the part on the right, figuring out the actual interval that each part is happening in. All right, you know how to get a hold of me if you need help. Good luck.